TV.
Thank you, sir.
Bishop, we just want to touch on a few issues, pertinent issues of this time. We want to hear your thoughts and views on TV ministry, and if it's an effective way of doing ministry, and should churches adopt that?
Besides the fact that Mr. Chombe, generally, the general populace of the church world is seriously getting involved with TV ministry and adopting it. I think you and I would agree that the 21st century believer or individual has become increasingly busy. In some countries, well, people have to do as much as 2 jobs just to earn a decent living, and what that means then is that the person has got very little disposable time to themselves, and you then find that it may not always be that you will be able to access the free time of people by them coming to church physically on a Sunday. As a result, television ministry becomes important because besides having the on-screen TV, that is the big screen at home, we now have facilities like internet TV where somebody could have access to ministry even when they're at work on their laptop. Today, I mean, internet is almost on everything. We have iPads, we have tablets, we have phones, and personal computers where one can access the internet at any time. As a result, TV ministry becomes pertinent in the sense that you don't wait for the Sunday service to be in touch with the person, although it's not live in the sense that it's face-to-face ministry. You still can get a message across to an individual, regardless of how busy they are. So I find that it makes all sense to go that direction. Although I must also say that, when you start looking at TV ministry, then all types of questions come into play, like quality of production, because generally there's a lot of competition out there for the ear of the hearer. For somebody to really give you time, and it means that you must be worth hearing in terms of content and in terms of quality. So I think it does actually make sense in this day and time to do television ministry.
Alright, looking at television ministry, the other sides, aspects of it, like in churches survive in donations, monies that people bring. Now, what happens in TV ministry? How can that issue be resolved? Because you're dealing with people who are not now attending church physically. So when it comes to issues of financing TV ministry, how can a church deal with that?
There are many mechanisms that can be put in place to cater for that. You see, the world is coming to a place where we are trying by all means to reduce the face-to-face interaction with issues in whatever regard. For an example, today you don't necessarily need to go to the city council to pay your bills, city council offices physically to pay your bills. You don't need to go to the telephone company to pay your bills. All these things can be done without face-to-face interaction. We have Visa cards, we have all forms of ways of transacting without the plastic, without the hard cash, plastic money. We have EcoCash in Zimbabwe. I'm not so sure of other countries. We have EcoCash in Zimbabwe where you can send your money using your phone. Okay, so the world is trying to move away from mechanics in terms of things being done physically and things being done manually. Everything is becoming electronic, and therefore it's a hassle for somebody to bring a donation even during the week, really, for them to stop what they are doing and think, look, I wanted to give, but I need to take my gift physically to the premises of the church or offices, whatever it could be. That's something that somebody would not want, and it would be extremely discouraging from the end of the individual who wants to donate. So whenever you want to go out into TV ministry, you then have to put up systems so that it becomes easy for those who want to access you with gifts. They are able to do it. So you have to provide either for your bank account, your visa system must be in place and must be functional. Your products, if you're going to sell any products, it means that they have to be available in the formats that are going to be either downloadable or whichever way for the individual to access them without physically coming to the premises.
Right. When we talk about TV ministry, it's mostly to deal with reaching a wider audience, like you mentioned.
Yes.
That means going international.
Yeah.
You yourself, Bishop, you're now an international speaker. And can you tell us some of the countries that you have visited?
Wow. Well, I'll start with the closest, of course. I've been to South Africa, I've been to Botswana, I've been to Zambia, I've been to Malawi, not Malawi, I've been to Namibia, I've been to Kenya, I've been to Ghana, I've been to Australia, and I think those are the countries I've been to.
So, in all those countries that you have mentioned, it's a diverse culture. I mean, the world is full of different cultures. How have you managed to deal with the different cultures in your preaching so that you are relevant to that particular kind of people you have visited?
I guess, Mr. Chombe, it's about knowing that when you become a Christian, you're now a new man. All things have passed away. You go above culture, you go above tradition, you go above nationality, especially if you're going to minister. You have to appreciate the power of the gospel, the message of the gospel in itself. It has nothing to do with culture and tradition, it's above that. And so, regardless of who an individual may be, their nationality may be, their culture may be, their language may be, the gospel has a capacity to be able to penetrate through that layer of cultural relevance and be able to reach out to a Chinese, to an Indian, to a white man, to a black man, to a Sotho man, to a Ndebele man, a Shona man. The name of Jesus and the message of Jesus Christ is cross-cultural. It's above culture. And so, when you're going to go out and minister to people that are from outside your culture and your tradition, you have to bear this in mind, that what you are carrying has nothing to do with cultures. It has to do with the fact that it gets into the human spirit. Remember, the human spirit has nothing to do with culture. It's the human body that is acculturized and traditionalized. But the spirit of a man comes from God the Father. He's the Father of spirits. That's what the scriptures tell us. And because he's the Father of spirits, the message that he gives is relevant to all spirits. So as a result, you'll be effective anywhere in the world that you go, as long as you don't change the message.
All right. So we're talking about the Christian language becoming an international language, easily understood by all. We understand currently you've been invited to some places for the big conferences happening.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of them?
Well, I don't know what I should say in that regard, but I think the biggest conferences we have done in the past, conferences for Apostle Colin Yati in Blue, they are quite international conferences. We've ministered there quite a number of times now, and I think ministering on an international platform has very little to do with you in a sense, but has to do so much more with with the grace that God has given you. Because for me, when I look at it, I really ask myself many questions in terms of why me? Why would God ask me to stand on such large platforms? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, not to compare really, but you would feel that there are some men who probably are better suited by such platforms. And that's when you begin to appreciate, look, this has almost nothing got to do with me completely. It has to do with the grace that is upon my life. And I'm very particular and careful to use the word grace, because whenever you use the word grace, you're saying it's no longer because of works or any form of qualification. There's nothing that I've done or can do at any time in this life that would make me qualify to stand on these platforms. So it is that really that humbles us as a couple to realize with my wife that, look, we're just people from a poor background and negative circumstances where we're coming from, left, right and center, but God has lifted us up and placed us amongst the great, and for us we see the grace of God in that. Yeah.
Thank you, Bishop. Lastly,
yes,
let's talk about how you view the future of the ministry. We talked about our online TV, but in your own view, what is the future of ministry? Where are we going? How do you think?
What's the question? Is your question about our ministry or general ministry?
We talk firstly about our ministry as our own church here.
Wow.
And then
I would love to talk about that, and I
Yes.
could talk about it the whole day.
Mhm.
Wow, we are a rising giant in the world today, and I'm not talking about Zimbabwe, I'm talking about the world, literally. We feel that our impact is going to go to the nations of the world. We are still growing in all forms. We are growing financially, we are growing resourcefully, we are growing physically, and that is to say mentally. We are mature, and our message as well is also growing. But we have a strong outreach ministry that we are going to, or we are embarking on. I'm sure you are aware of the sound system that we recently purchased. What we are going to do is we want to start with the surrounding areas and rural